Look, we all know that protecting your company's critical data is, well, it's a huge challenge, right? It feels like a constant battle. Your data is your lifeblood, but the threats out there, they're getting smarter and faster every single day.
So let me ask you something, straight up. Think about your current backup strategy. I mean, really think about it. Are you 100% confident, truly confident, that it could survive a sophisticated ransomware attack? Not just an attack on your main systems, but one that's designed to go after your backups too.
You know, for years, data backup has been that fundamental safety net for IT. But here's the thing, the game has totally changed. The bad guys aren't just locking up your live files anymore. Oh no, they're way more sinister. Their attacks are now specifically designed to hunt down and obliterate your backups first, leaving you with absolutely no choice but to pay up.
All right, so before we can talk about where we need to be, we've got to look at where we've come from. For what feels like forever, the gold standard in data protection has been the classic 3-2-1 rule. And hey, it's been the go-to for a very good reason.
Yeah, the 3-2-1 strategy was the industry standard for a long, long time, and it was great. Its main job was pretty straightforward. Keep your data safe from the usual suspects. You know, things like a server crashing, a flood in the data center, maybe a simple virus. So what is it exactly? Well, it's actually pretty elegant in its simplicity. The 3 means you keep at least 3 copies of your data. That's your live production data plus 2 backups. The 2 means you store those copies on 2 different types of media. Think like one on disk and another on tape. And the 1, that's the crucial part. Keep 1 copy completely off-site. That way, if your whole building goes down, you're still covered.
And look, for a very long time, that was solid. It was more than enough. And don't get me wrong, it's still way better than having nothing. But, and this is a huge but, it has a critical weakness. It was designed in an era before ransomware got smart. If your offsite copy is still connected to your network, even through a WAN link, modern ransomware can sniff it out and encrypt it just as easily as everything else. And that is exactly why the old rule had to evolve. To fight these new, smarter threats, we need a smarter strategy. So, let's talk about the next step, the 3-2-1-1-0 rule. Okay, so take a look here. The foundation, that classic 3-2-1, it's still there. 3 copies, 2 types of media, 1 offsite. But notice we've tacked on 2 new numbers, an extra 1 and a 0. And trust me, these 2 little numbers are absolute game changers. So what's that first 1 all about? This is the big one. It stands for one offline or air-gapped copy. Think of it like putting your most valuable backup in a digital vault that's not connected to anything. It's physically or logically isolated from the network, and the logic is simple. If the ransomware can't see it, it can't touch it. This is your ace in the hole, your last line of defense when all hell breaks loose. Okay, and what about that 0 at the end? That stands for 0 errors. Because let's be honest, what good is a backup if it's corrupted and you can't actually restore from it? It's useless. So this part is all about making sure your backups are actually viable. It means running regular, automated checks to verify they're complete, they're clean, and they'll actually work when you're in crisis mode. It's basically quality assurance for your entire recovery plan. All right, theory is great, right? We get the concept of 3-2-1-1-0. But the real question is, how do you actually do this? How do you implement this in a complex, real-world enterprise setting? Let's dive into the practical side of things. I'm going to say it again because it's that important. Getting that true air gap in place is the single most powerful move you can make to ransomware-proof your recovery strategy. Now, the challenge has always been that with old school tools, creating and managing a proper air gap could be, well, a huge pain. And this is exactly where modern solutions, like those from StoneFly, really shine. They give you flexible, practical ways to build this air gap right into the infrastructure you already have. For example, you could use their SVM software to spin up virtual air-gapped volumes on your existing VMware or Hyper-V hosts. Or you could go with purpose-built hardware nodes just for that offline storage. And of course, you can take it to the cloud, creating air-gapped volumes in places like Azure, AWS, or even StoneFly's own private cloud. But it's not just about the air gap. These solutions add another absolutely critical layer of protection: immutability. So what does that mean? It means your backups are essentially set in stone.
They cannot be changed or deleted, not even by an admin account that's been compromised. This is done with cool tech like warm policies, that's write once, read many, and things like immutable snapshots and S3 object lockdown. Basically, it makes your backup data completely tamper-proof.
So let's pull all this together. What does this mean for you and your organization? It means that today, right now, you have both the strategy and the tools available to build a defense that can actually stand up to modern attacks.
So if you're going to walk away with a checklist today, this is it. Number 1, a no-brainer, have multiple copies of your critical data. That's classic 3-2-1. Number 2, and this is crucial, make sure at least one of those copies is in that offline air-gapped storage. Number 3, layer on immutability, make that offline storage tamper-proof. And finally, number 4, set up regular backups so you have multiple points in time to recover from. That way you can roll back to a clean version right before an attack ever happened.
You know, at the end of the day, it's all about not leaving things to chance. You just can't be reactive anymore. Having the right strategy in place, one that's built for the threats we face today, is really the difference between a manageable incident and a full-blown business-ending catastrophe. Now look, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, this makes sense, but where do I even begin? You don't have to go it alone. Seriously, the best first step is just to talk to people who live and breathe this stuff. Reach out to the experts at StoneFly. They can help you figure out how to build a custom solution that actually fits your environment and your goals. Because your data, it's just too important to leave vulnerable.